A man in his 60s was brought to me by his wife and he had a diagnosis of Lewy's body dementia. He was told it was irreversible and the only possibility to manage it was by drugs, which were not very pleasant and had unpleasant side effects. His speech was hardly audible. His movements were poor. He shuffled. But I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at the way he breathed, because what underlies everything is the respiratory circulatory system. How easy is it to get oxygen to a vulnerable part of the brain, and what other organ in the body, tissues in the body, may be involved in creating the situation in the brain. So in both areas, there would be stagnation somewhere organically in the body, and stagnation in the brain. By stagnation, I mean that the level of oxygen in the blood is low, the circulatory movement of blood is low, so that toxins can't be removed, and chemicals are building up and toxins are building up in that area. So the most important thing, therefore, to establish is just how well that person breathes. What respiratory adaptations have they been using? How long have they been using them? What is their history of stress? Was there any stress around their birth? A whole lot of small incidents throughout a lifetime can affect the respiratory circulatory system and the delivery of oxygen to the brain. And there may well have been a weakness there anyway in the first place, which may not ever have become a problem. So this is what I did. We started him off working with light, gentle pressures around his diaphragm, which was clearly very weak. He was an upper chest breather, but his breathing was quite labored at times. His coordination was poor. So once his diaphragm had been lifted, upgraded a little bit by a month of work on it, we then began to look at reapplying a program of early infant movement, looking at crawling, but looking much more closely at what is actually happening in terms of the way the information systems and the respiratory circulatory system are forged through crawling itself. And this doesn't mean any sort of crawling, because although he was crawling poorly, some people observing him would have said, well, he can crawl. But in fact, his body was a lump, very strongly compressed, because his diaphragm hadn't been descending appropriately. This had an effect on the whole respiratory circulatory system and the feedback of information from the joints to his brain. And so gradually, this enterprising new friend of mine began to crawl under the guidance of his lovely wife, who was quite strict with him. And it was very lovely, because what began to return first was his sense of humor, which I could begin to see what a delightful partner he must really be, and certainly have been able to demonstrate before this situation arose, and why his lovely wife wanted him back so urgently, because he's quite witty and funny, and it began to show. So by after a few months, he began to look at possibly driving his car again, and he took another driving test, and that allowed him to do it. Next thing I knew, he was off to Las Vegas with his son, with his family, his birthday party there. So it's been very, very delightful to see how once we get the respiratory circulatory system running again, whatever is happening inside the body, this is a system of which should be free flow, and some of these flows have been blocked. So you can't waste time and money trying to establish which specific organs are causing the problem. We know there is a problem, so we want to just clean out the whole system, and that's how we did it.